Hello, and welcome to a very sunny London. I had grand plans to vlog the whole of today for you. It's been a busy one. So far, I have taught a spin class, I went to an event with Aveda, and I just recorded a podcast, a brand new WHEYBOX podcast, which I will link below for you. But the main part of this video, I am going to go and meet with my friend and Harley Street nutritionist, Rhiannon Lambert. I wanted to have a really good in-depth discussion with her about the fitness industry and diet culture. If you've seen my video that I put up a few months ago now, you'll kind of know where I'm coming from, and also just kind of talk about what's going on in the world of nutrition right now and hopefully bust some myths for you. So let's go find Rhiannon and have a good chat. No, I'm literally just using your mirror, don't worry. So I made it to Rhiannon's flat, and since I last visited her and we did a video together as part of Vlogmas, that's like ages ago, Rhi. This whole place has been redone. I just need to show you a little bit. Can we just discuss how cool this kitchen is? It's so cool. I love these doors.
A little bit, like just clear this up.
No, it's beautiful.
Cupboards are closed.
Okay. I love it. Oh my gosh, I know, yellow toaster. I love it. Loving the vibe. We're gonna film in the lounge today. This has all been redone as well. How beautiful is this room? Just how stunning is this? We are gonna talk about nutrition, not just like interior design, but have to say this flat is goals. It is beautiful. So we thought we would sit down. I have Rhi here. Let's be a bit more formal. I have Rhiannon Lambert, nutritionist, Harley Street nutritionist, author, and all-round nutrition girl boss, and a really good friend of mine. So we wanted to chat. So I mentioned before at the beginning of this video that I made a video called Health Over Weight Loss, and it was all about how I want to change the industry and where I feel like the fitness industry in particular needs to go from a personal trainer's perspective. But Rhi and I talk about this topic a lot, don't we?
Yeah, understatement of the century, all the time.
So I wanted to get a nutritionist perspective on the health over weight loss mindset and how we can work together to share that message more, and perhaps if you're a trainer or you're someone who's looking to focus on that, like perhaps give you some tools and tips on how to put it into practice in your life.
Very nicely said, Tally. I think it is hugely important because the nutrition and the fitness and psychology, if you look at this little triangle, I mean, to be healthy, you want to be active, but there shouldn't be a focus on necessarily just aesthetic goals, which you find all the time in the gym, that it's very much geared and orientated towards number-focused thinking. And I find in nutrition, again, lots of people are very geared and focused on number-focused thinking. It's like the numbers are coming in everywhere, and we need to find a kind of happy medium.
So the first thing I want to talk about is personal trainers and nutrition, because obviously there are a lot of personal trainers out there, and if you do this, by the way, this isn't, I'm not going to throw you under the bus here, but what I want to do is just make all of us aware about who we should be taking our nutrition advice from. So if you or you have a trainer who's giving you nutrition plans, macros to follow, nutritional breakdowns, all that kind of stuff, what would you say to do in that situation? Who should we be getting advice from, and where do we draw the line between personal trainer and nutritionist? Can they be both?
I think that's a really, really good question, because actually if you have been to the gym, let's say, and you've been given a plan to follow, first of all, what are the goals from it? Because everything that revolves around macro counting or calorie counting, which I personally am not a fan of, I do not think that's the answer. It's not for long term. They're very short-term focused ways of thinking, unless you generally want to be counting macros for the rest of your life. The problem is, from a nutritional perspective, that cuts out a whole lot of nutrition. You can be malnourished and not realize it. Severely malnourished, affect your health, your longevity, affect your hormonal health, your bone health, your organs, all the little things that people do not think about, because macros do not take into account the wider picture.
Should personal trainers be giving macro plans, nutrition plans to clients?
It's risky. I think people don't take nutrition seriously enough. They look at it as a manipulating tool for your body. It's your mental health. It's your physical and your psychological state of being every single day.
And especially if you have any sort of medical condition or anything like that. Nutrition is so individual, and that is Rhiannon's written a book called Nutrition, and if you read that, she really gets across the message that nutrition is individual and it has to be custom to you as a person. And
yeah, it's the screening process. I mean, I think you'll often find if you're in a gym, unless you're very rigorous and you are on top of your data, you may miss something because you don't spend an hour just looking at their nutrition. And something that's really important is to screen for all the things that not only you may have right now, but what's in your family history. So what about the paternal side, the maternal side? And these are things I cover in my book, Renourish, because you guys need to know that it is very, very, very individual.
So there are courses that personal trainers can do. I have done a couple of these courses where it qualifies me to talk about nutrition, and the term is give nutritional advice to clients. So what parameters do you feel that trainers can give advice? Because I think there's an element of we do have to give our clients some knowledge on basic nutrition, on some key principles that they can start. I particularly like to try and get my clients to implement healthy habits, and I call them healthy habits rather than a formal nutrition plan or anything like that.
This is really interesting because I agree. Personal trainers are often the first point of call before even a GP when it comes to changing your healthy habits, which is key. So there's a big difference between putting someone on a diet and giving them healthy advice. I mean, what happens is if you're trying to restrict someone's nutritional intake, it's also their gut microbiome that can be affected and everything else that people don't think about. So PTs should be saying, look at your vegetable intake, look at your fiber intake, look at fruit, look at the right type of carbohydrates that may suit your needs. They can give a basic level of generalized advice, but actually giving someone structured meals and what they should be eating every day and how many calories or how many macros, I don't agree with that.
Yeah, I feel like we got to the bottom of that one there.
She got it out of me.
So let's talk about a sustainable approach.
Yeah.
Because there's something I'm finding out more about at the moment, and it's an approach called Health at Every Size. So I'm reading a book at the moment called Health at Every Size by Linda Bacon. I'll link it below if you want to check it out on Amazon. It was recommended to me by a dietitian. Like, I'll let you, I mean, I'm still kind of in the first third of the book, and it's quite a hefty book.
It is a big book.
But I will say what I feel the basic principle is, and please go for it. So I think the basic principle is that rather than, like you said, always focusing on weight loss and making people weigh a certain amount, and it's particularly targeting people who would be considered obese, overweight, and it's targeting those people. And rather than making them feel like they need to be a certain clothes size, dress size, or a number on the scale, we take away that stress and pressure, and instead she is trying to implement a kind of lifestyle nutrition approach whereby you're really focusing on your health and overall happiness and well-being rather than trying to meet a number on a scale. And she says, you know, she did this approach herself, and she says that there was a physical change to her body, but that wasn't the primary motivation to embark on that new routine. So that's what I understand Health at Every Size to do, but please add to that if there's more, because I know it's a bit more complicated than that.
It is. I mean, it's an approach which has been shown to be very beneficial. So I think it's wonderful, and I think there are so many people that could benefit from taking the focus away from, like we said, you should be this or you should be that, and what I call all or nothing thinking. So Health at Every Size does kind of mention one of the principles a lot that's in there on black and white thinking and thoughts and mindset, which is all or nothing, either or, no in between, and healthy ground. And for a lot of people, once you take the primary focus away from just what your doctor said you have to be a certain BMI, you can then start focusing on other health behavior changes for happiness and respecting your body. So it's very in line with my 4 R's from the book, because if you respect your body and you nourish it and you allow yourself to feel things that you can't see on the outside, it's how you feel on the inside. That's amazing.
And I think whenever we're embarking on like a health and fitness journey, and I'm sure you guys are, that's probably why you're watching this channel. We're wanting to just feel really good, and I think we feel a pressure to have a physical result because we're going on that, because that's kind of what society
and not
kind of
because
means you to be. Yeah, it's that diet culture approach of, you know, slim and happy.
Size 8 equals happiness, and then X size is too big or too small.
And in fact, what we're both trying to do, and I think what Health at Every Size really is promoting, is trying to make people of all shapes and sizes feel fit, healthy and happy.
And accepted.
And accepted, because a fit person can be any shape or size.
Yeah.
And I think another book, I'll just drop another book in there, it's called Big Fit Girl, and that really
I need
helped
to
me.
read this one.
It's so good. It's by Louise Green, and it really challenged me and the stereotypes that we have for fit women. Once again, this is taking by society standards, by medical standards, an obese woman who actually does triathlons and marathons and things that I cannot do.
Yes.
But her DNA is not fit to be petite. And
and her bone structure and her genetics and everything plays a role. Your epigenetics, which is the environment you're in now, just as much as the DNA you are born with, and predisposing things that can be switched on or off throughout the period of your life. So you can have something and one little life event can switch it on. And that's what we're talking about, changes. And like Tally said, there's too much focus on being underweight or overweight. What about the healthy middle ground? And even if you are at either end of those spectrums, they could be a happy place for you, but a line and a number the government's created which doesn't apply to you. However, this is when health at every size comes into question for some things, because actually I also work with eating disorders, and some people that are obese, that method may not work for them. Some people do genuinely need to have a few rules, whereas others try to let go of rules. So we have to embrace once again that one size doesn't fit all.
No. And I think it's really interesting to know about more nutrition approaches. And I certainly think there's some really good stuff out there. Like this book, the Health Exercise book I'm reading is great. And once I've read it in full, perhaps we'll come back again and do another video
the haze
with Rhiannon on it.
Yeah.
But it's so interesting. And I think it's really opening my mind to be more, like I said, being more open-minded about what fit and healthy looks like. And I think we need to have more representations of that on social media.
It's like society has changed as well. So I get a lot of people saying, oh, you're a nutritionist, can you help me lose weight? That is the stereotype that I have as a nutritionist, not, oh, I want to feel good and energized or get through the day and not have the 4 p.m. slump and I want to sleep better. But what about the basic? Well, some people are meant to have stomach rolls. Some people are meant to have flat stomachs. Some people are not. Some people carry their weight here. Some people do not.
There are people you follow online who
all different shapes
of all different shapes and sizes. And we particularly put up on a pedestal a certain physique or a certain look, particularly like people with big bums, really washboard abs, those kind of things, men and women. And I think we often forget that genetics do play a massive role in that as well. And I'm not saying those people don't work hard, because I'm sure that they do train those areas specifically as well. But I do think that genetics play a massive role in those.
Of course they do.
I always use the example of even Rhiannon and I. Rhiannon's taller than me, and just that in itself means I will never look like her, and she will never look like you.
Yeah, it's just the way it is. And I think when it comes to the nutritional aspect, everybody's trying to reach an ideal. And the problem is the ideal doesn't exist, because actually it's unrealistic for us. All these different diets, intermittent fasting, 5-2 diets, paleo diets, I don't know, people using veganism as a diet, and it shouldn't be seen as a diet. It's not, it's a way of life, and we're trying constantly to search for things, whereas
find the next answer to our supposed, to solve our problem, make us look this way. So we're going to bust 3 myths to finish off this little chat. I hope you've enjoyed it. First one we're going to bust is intermittent fasting. What is it? Should we be doing it?
Okay, really quickly. So intermittent fasting is a period where you fast for maybe between 12 to 16 hours before eating food. So most people tend to skip breakfast these days. You'll be seeing it on social media. Now, there's no research whatsoever yet that applies to human beings. What's been done is on animal studies, and actually the first trials are happening this year, really.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and we don't have the data or the years behind it to support it. Most people are doing it for fat loss. However, it's more suited, I would say, from the research that's come out, to males over females, different hormonal interactions. Basically, I think it's a no-goer for the majority of the population, especially if you struggled with anxiety or disordered eating. It can lead people to obsessively thinking about food. Essentially, guys, for some people it might work, for the majority it's another diet.
So the second one is the ketogenic diet. Now this is a diet.
This is a diet.
Explain what it is. Explain what it is. And once again, do we do it? Do we not do it?
Right, so basically, these are all diets, first of all. They are all diets. Ketogenic diet is when you restrict your carbohydrate intake to roughly below 50 grams of carbohydrates a day, which is nothing. Can I just add, that is nothing.
That's what you get mostly from fruit and veg, is that right?
Precisely. So it means you can't really have any vegetables or fruit.
Which is ridiculous because we need them.
Yeah, you literally just live off
nuts.
Not even nuts because there's too much fat. So you live off animal products predominantly and literally nothing else.
Wow.
Yeah, it's hardcore, it's not advisable. What it does is it strips, your body switches from carbohydrate stores, which are stored all over you in the form of glycogen. So to every carb molecule you attract water. This is stored around your muscles like an invisible layer for energy. What happens is when you stop getting that, you shed that layer, which is the initial fat loss people see. So that initial fat loss is water weight from this glycogen. Yeah.
So it's not fat loss, it's
Not
just
yet.
your water weight.
Yeah, and then it converts into burning body fat. However, what you're doing is becoming very malnourished, lacking all sorts of fibre, so your digestion slows down, you'll get constipated, you'll get brain fog, you might have terrible bad breath. Basically, no, I would never advise it. It's a short-term thing, maybe for a certain goal, never a long-term healthy option.
And I think we're going to conclude this little myth-busting session by saying diets don't
Work. Yes, they don't work.
And if you're looking for the long-term, healthy, sustainable approach, which I'm certainly going to promote forever and ever, amen, and I hope Rhiannon is too, and I'm pretty certain she is. Those type of diets are not for you.
It's like veganism. People shouldn't really be calling that a diet because it's a lifestyle choice.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, thanks, Rhi, so much for chatting with me. I hope you've learned something. And let me know if you want Rhi to come on again. I always love chatting to you. I always learn stuff. And I feel like we're very on the same page.
We have the same message, which is you can all be health and happiness come first, right?
Absolutely. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, please subscribe, follow Rhi. I'm going to link her below. And I'll see you next time. Goodbye. Bye. Bye. It is now a few weeks later and I just wanted to quickly pop on and say at the end of this video that since we filmed that video, it has been confirmed that Rhiannon is going to be a very special guest on my next retreat. If you don't know, I'm hosting a retreat in Portugal from September the 28th to the 3rd at the most gorgeous house called Casa Buzeta. I'm going to link everything below if you're interested. We've got a couple of rooms left and I would love you to be there. So yeah, Rhiannon's going to come out. She's going to be doing a workshop with me about nutrition, and we're also going to be having a dinner party with her where we eat some of her recipes, and yeah, it's just going to be fab. Along with obviously workouts from me, more workshops from me, cooking classes, days out, everything. You'll find all the information below. Hopefully I'll see you there. Thank you so much for watching. Proper goodbye this time. Goodbye.